My name is Cydni Tetro. I am a technology executive and an entrepreneur. I've spent my entire career in technology companies, really focused on how do you build product and drive customer acquisition. And I've had the opportunity to not only start my own companies and raise venture capital, but also work at companies like Disney doing technology commercialization, all the way into both social media, on B2C and B2B. I'm actually fairly new to New Tech Northwest. Our company is based out of Salt Lake City, but we now have a presence in Seattle. And so as we were looking at communities that we should be involved in, this is one of those communities. I do a lot of my work actually for women in tech, tied to the Women Tech Council. And so as there was a Women Tech Council event here and an organization that's helping build a local community, we felt it was really important to become involved. As I was thinking about what I was going to say, one of the things that I thought I had more time to talk about was what it meant to be a female founder and raise capital. And this whole idea that happens around how do you handle the rejection and all of the dynamics of being able to ask for money, find the right investment partners, and then really be able to take that capital in and then scale and grow your company. So my company is a company called ForgeDX, and we built this product experience platform. And as the CEO and founder of that, I work with companies all of the time, especially a lot of the large companies and digital and technology retailers and organizations. You can find me on all sorts of social media, whether it's Twitter at Tetro, which is CYDTETRO, or on LinkedIn under Cydni Tetro, or even on Instagram. Tech Council. I've spent my entire career in technology. From my undergrad in computer science through building companies and raising venture capital. And I had an opportunity to spend about 5 years at Disney doing technology commercialization and Imagineering. So with that, I wanted to talk a little bit today around what it means to be fearless. It has been said that people who are fearless act, behave, and think differently. When I was talking to my 14-year-old son, I said, what do you think, what's the definition of someone who is fearless? And he said to me, they are people who get stuff done. So I want you to think about that, because oftentimes we think about people who are fearless, and I think about other entrepreneurs that I know, and I think maybe I'm not exactly like them. Maybe I'm not as fearless as they are when it comes to starting a business or jumping into a new opportunity. But I have really learned that it is all about being in action. I want to give you 4 ideas to think about what it means for us individually to be fearless. So my first one is this idea around don't shut your own doors. So I want you to think for a moment about the most recent opportunity that you've had or something that came your way where you decided all of the reasons that it would not work. No one's ever had this experience before, right? We never said no before we actually got the question along the way. I think one of the challenges that we have is to be the person who does not shut our own doors, that we take advantage of every opportunity that comes by because the doors will shut by themselves. Someone won't give you the money, someone won't give you the opportunity. But when we shut the doors before we're even at them, then we don't even get the opportunities to go and move forward. Quick story. When I was going to work for Disney, I was just coming off of a company. And my friend was heading up Imagineering, or Disney Research and Imagineering. And he said to me, hey, Sid, we're starting an entrepreneur in residence program. Would you like to come down? And I said, okay, I'll come down. So I go down. I talked to him over a weekend. He calls me the next week and he said, okay, Sid, we would love for you to come do this, but let me tell you a few things. I have no idea what this job looks like. I can't tell you exactly where you'll be in 6 months, how long it will last, or where it will end up, but would you like to take it? And I said, yep, sign me up. I will take that. And it led to so many other opportunities that I could never have imagined by just jumping into that. Don't shut your own doors. Take advantage of what comes your way. Secondly, I want you to think about how you make things happen. So I started a 3D printing company. We could make you superheroes. I had licenses for all those characters you saw at the beginning, from the NFL to Major League Baseball to Marvel to Star Wars, and we could take 3D scans of your face. When we decided to start this company, we sold the idea and got licenses to IP before we had written the technology. Now, I decided we should launch with Marvel and Major League Baseball. And we showed up at Comic-Con with a partner. And at Comic-Con, I had some really big partners like Walmart come to me and say, hey, Sid, in 60 days for Superhero September, could you launch inside of our stores? Okay, we just launched. We had like 2 pieces of infrastructure. I said, okay, I think we can do that. Let me figure out how to make that happen. I decided that in order to do that, I needed Hasbro as a partner in order to make a toy product and not just a 3D printing product. So we picked up the phone and we called them and we said, hey, Walmart wants us to launch in 60 days. Will you work with us to make that happen? And we made it happen. And so I think that you have the opportunity, if you are willing to be in action and do things, to make things happen. Now, my next suggestion for you is to take on the impossible. So when I was building that 3D printing company, there was one point in time where we had a massive launch coming up. We had taken 6 months in preparation, and I had a major partner who I needed to help me deliver some hardware to go into this installation, one of the largest retailers in the country. On a Friday night, 2 weeks before launch at 5 o'clock, my partner called me and said, "I'm sorry, we cannot hit your deadline. We're backing out." Like, well, this is really rough. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday. I have 2 weeks. I just signed the contract. I show up on Monday, and I said to my team, "I don't know if we can make anything happen, but will you have the mindset of doing whatever you need to help us solve this problem?" Took a whiteboard. We wrote down all of the possible ideas that we could possibly attack, and the team went after them. In the end, we ended up missing the install date by 2 days. It took 150 family members and a lot of people over the weekend, but we made it happen. And I believe it's in the mindset of making things happen and getting work done. My fourth item for you is this idea of always being willing to ask. It's the very hardest thing to do. The worst thing someone's going to tell you is no. So my current company, which is a product experience platform, we work with really large companies in the whole visual IQ that she was just talking about to tell product stories. And I had to deal with a very large company, Fortune 20, but it wasn't really working out for me. And I decided that I need the metrics and the monetization to be different. So I built a model, and I went to the president of that company, and I said, "Look, this is what I needed to be like." Now, I was worried about it. I didn't know how he would react, but I just went for the ask. There was another time in my life when I didn't go for the ask. When I sat in front of a guy who was a strategic partner, and he asked me, "Sid, do you want a joint venture? Do you want me to invest in your company, or do you want me to buy you?" And my answer back to him was, "Well, what do you want to do?" And that was the wrong answer. I should have gone for what I asked, and it would have changed the outcome of those meetings. You just have to be willing to ask. You have to understand the alternatives, and you have to be willing to accept that sometimes there'll be no, but if you didn't ask, you will never know along the way. I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to being fearless, is that you should learn the art of the ask and being willing to go for what you want. My last thought for you is that as you think about where you're headed, that your choices will reflect your hopes and not your fears, so that you can live fearlessly. Thank you. Woo-hoo! Okay, I think we get a little bit of time for a few questions, if there are any.
What's the why of your company?
What's the why of our company? My company today allows me to bridge the storytelling experience that I got from my Disney work with technology, because we built a platform that lets companies tell their most powerful product stories in a visual way that people understand and that accelerates sales. My largest customer, it helped them do $100 million of additional revenue last year. So I completely validate those numbers that she was saying before me on the visualization. I completely agree. Great question. Any other questions? Okay, we'll have to plant more questions for everyone. Yeah, right back there. Okay. Do you know what? All technology companies are looking for people. And I would say, come talk to me or anyone else on my team that's here. And we are always looking for talent. Everyone's looking for talent. I come out of Salt Lake City. We have 4,000 open technology jobs, which I suspect your stat is similar here. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you guys for the opportunity to come here and to interact with your community.